This is the Maroon Mercenary. I've heard that you've seen some of my work, and I gotta ask, what are your thoughts about it?
It was so horrible.
Oh, come now. Aren't you being a little harsh? I mean, I wouldn't call them horrible. Hello? Laura? Ah!
Warning, this episode contains violence not suitable for children. And as another warning, the equipment I usually use to record this finally passed away. I'm sorry that the quality isn't as good. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello? Laura? Hello everyone and welcome to the Maroon Mercenary's review on Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition. I am the Maroon Mercenary, just a robot discovering games and exploring what they have to offer. This episode was suggested by a loved one who is very dear to me. So by all means, there is absolutely no pressure whatsoever in doing this review. Tomb Raider is an action-adventure game that was primarily developed by Crystal Dynamics and published by Square Enix. Enix? Enix? Either way, published by them. This edition of the Tomb Raider franchise is a reboot, and the reboot brings a tale of how an inexperienced adventurer turns into a tough and rugged survivor. This game is the origin story of Lara Croft. I won't spoil the story any further as far as the details go, but I still will give my 2 cents on it. There is a lot of main story to the game, and the side journal entries enhance the story quite a bit. My issue is how they presented the main portions of the story. They are presented via cutscenes, which isn't the problem. The problem is that it seemed like most of the cutscenes didn't show the right emotion for me to care about the story as much as I should. Granted, there were parts that caused a reaction or two from me, including the part that truly made me choke up a bit. I even saluted the character that caused me to choke up. Good job, Crystal Dynamics. And well done. The controls present a unique feel that isn't very similar to other games. Some controls play out organically, bringing in the immersion. The best example of this would have to be the X button function. It is the most used action to flow organically because you mostly use it to grapple onto particular walls in the game. Just picture flying out to a rocky cliff, extending out as far as you can. You're so far you don't know if you can make it. Getting closer and then BAM! You cling onto the side of the wall. However, not all actions flow naturally. In order to shoot your weapon, you need to aim your sights down before firing. There's no hip fire in this game, which is a shame because it would have helped make the gameplay feel more authentic. This goes especially since you need to constantly hold one trigger to aim, and if you play it like how I did, spend even more time drawing your bow and holding it as long as you can. Then the last set of controls I need to mention would be the QuickTime events. Back when this concept originally came out, it was an awesome novelty to play with. And now? It feels more like a dead horse being beaten for way too long than it is now a pile of mush. What I mean to say is, oh no, the creep has a hold on you! You better shake the left analog stick back and forth as rapid as you can. Oh, good job. Now you better make sure you time that Y button press because your life depends on it. And you know, as much as I like the X button in this game, it is still a victim to the QuickTime event problem. That button is reserved to rapidly smash to the point that you'd give Michael J. Fox a run for his money. Aside from the controls, the gameplay feels pretty solid. Playing the main story is jam-packed with action, and the action parts seemed easy to me.
She's down!
For the most part. It doesn't matter if the fights were easy or critically difficult to pass, the battles were pretty engaging to me. And that goes the same for other action bits as well. Some parts can be simple to go through while other parts can be pretty frustrating, but all seems to be engaging. On a side note, and sorry for a minor spoiler, but there was a part in the game where you need to ride down rapids leading down to a parachute gliding portion. The person who suggested this video had a troubling time through this parachute part, but seemed to have a pleasant experience with the rapids portion. I had an opposite experience. Death after death after death kept happening to me in the rapids part, but I had a breeze right through the parachute part. The sense of adventure goes hand in hand with the main story, but it is heavily displayed by the side quests. There is a lot of exploring, trying to collect artifacts related to the environment of the game as a whole, or finding journal entries from other people that existed on the island. I found the journal entries delightful, or at least whichever entries I was able to find. Reading the journals add flavor and context to the main story, which explains why I had a tear-jerking moment watching one of those cutscenes. And then, my favorite part of the adventure would have to be the optional tombs. In order to discover a tomb's existence, you need to be located near the entrance. Once you are able to find them, these tombs act like platforming puzzles. If you solve the puzzles, then you earn the treasure. Most of the tombs that I found were pretty easy to figure out what to do. Amusingly enough, the easier it was solving the puzzle, the harder it was to execute the solution. And the harder it was to solve, it was easier to execute. This game also has a little bit of RPG elements as well, but it's more of an extra bit of gameplay than the main style. You gain small amounts of experience for almost everything, almost to the point that I was surprised they didn't give the player extra experience just for lighting the torch or sneezing for that matter. But once you level up, there is agency to choose what perks you want to use. This does tie in with what I would very loosely call a crafting system. A lot of equipment that Laura possesses, which is mostly weapons, can be upgraded. You need to explore the world looking for pieces to upgrade them, and they come in two forms: weapon parts and a currency-like system. If you find all the weapon parts you can, it upgrades into a better weapon, and this better weapon gives you more options to add with that weapon. Then we have the currency system. If you select an option for the equipment or weapon you want to upgrade, then it will say that you need X amount of, let's call it nuts and bolts. You pay the nuts and bolts required, and that perk you selected becomes a feature for your item. To repeat myself, the gameplay seems pretty solid. Everything I mention about it seems to interweave with each other nicely. And even though I didn't find the controls to be the best, they are still functional. The graphics of Tomb Raider isn't bad at all. From the gameplay aspect of the graphics, you can tell that it was done by a AAA game company. They did a fine job making the scenery the way they should, the enemies are detailed, and even Laura looks pretty polished during gameplay. In Laura's original outfit, they have texture swaps to make her look pretty dirty and bloody, or even sparkling clean. I feel they have times where they've swapped them out poorly. I noticed the time I just went through a difficult battle and Laura looked like she's seen better days. I move into a room not even 5 minutes later and she looks sparkling clean and like nothing exciting ever happened. If only real life could be that easy. One issue that I have with the graphics is during the cutscenes. Most, if not all of the characters during the cutscenes look like they are taking a dip in the uncanny valley. They look real, but more like looking at a human-style animatronic. Uncanny-looking robots just creep me out. Not only do they look awkward, but sometimes their movements just don't flow smoothly. And this takes away immersion from the overall storytelling. However, I am willing to give some slack to this game. The vanilla version of Tomb Raider came out during the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, and cutscenes weren't always able to be polished very well. And no matter how you can argue with that, the definitive edition was molded from the vanilla version, and it would take extra time polishing up cutscenes. So they get a pass from me. Now, pardon me for having any critique about the audio when I don't even have a good recording device anymore, but I really wish I could speak a lot of praise about the audio for this one. One of the big things that I felt hindered the game was the music. During my run of the game, I did not notice any of the music playing. Maybe that is a good thing, and it merges so well with the environment sounds, but to me, it just gives the player sounds of location as opposed to how one should feel in that location. And if the music in the game blends in with the walls, then you really just got a neutral feeling at the location you are in. I want the music to make me feel fear or suspense. Hell, I want to feel adrenaline pumping during the combat portions from the music alone. Instead, I just get meh. However, if you are watching the game being played like I did reviewing the footage that I recorded, you can pick up the theatrics of the music during the gameplay. Grab a tub of popcorn and enjoy your friend playing the game. I wish I could say the same for it during the cutscenes though. It seems like audio filler for me and gave me more of a meh feeling about it again. The worst crime about the music in this game is that it is forgettable. I play through the part, barely acknowledged the music's existence while playing it, and was not able to ponder over it later. Well, at least the sound effects didn't disappoint as badly. I didn't come in with any expectations to feel emotions from the sound effects. But environment sounds really give you a feel for where you were at or what you were doing. Memorable sounds for me were the whoosh of the arrows flying past as soon as you release them, or the droplets falling in the caves. They even did a fascinating job with the metal on rock sounds when slamming your climber's axe into the side of mountains. And to finish the audio portion of this review, I have to give a gold star to the voice acting. Not only were the voices appropriate for the characters, like Laura keeping her accent in this reboot, but how the lines were delivered is what helped tell the story. From the cutscenes to the audio from the journal entries, even hearing dialogue in the gameplay, I have to give this a 10 out of 10. Even the enemies did a good job. Just listen.
That should do it. What the hell are we gonna tell the enforcers? Don't worry about it. We'll say he lost it. Jumped to his death. But you shot him. Details, man. They aren't ever gonna find his body.
To cap it off, I should tell you a few things before my final results. I played this game in normal mode, and it took me about halfway for me to finally be challenged in the game. In the first half of the game, it was really easy. I moved through it with ease. In the second half, I had a harder time figuring things out and executing my performance in optional tombs. This is the same for doing other side tasks and going through the main parts. Not everything was extremely tough that it took me longer to do, but the challenging parts were truly difficult to go through. I should also mention that the beginning of the game is slow. In the beginning, the story doesn't seem thrilling at all, and again, the gameplay wasn't anything to mention in the difficulty department. To replace this though, it does an excellent job of tutoring the player of how to play the game while making the gameplay authentic. With all of this in mind, I find the game to be well designed overall, and it hits the nail directly on the head when it comes to being fun. In my playthrough, I was unable to complete the game by collecting everything and doing everything I could. Because they did that so well, I wish I was able to complete that, and honestly, when I'm done with this review, I probably will go back to complete the side objectives. I don't want to do it to get the extra features or achievements or trophies for it, but really for the mere thrill of the hunt. If I want to go back for that reason, I think that says a good game. So if you can get past the beginning of the game, I recommend Tomb Raider without any doubt. If you are able to, I suggest that you go a step even further and go play Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. I am the Maroon Mercenary, and if you excuse me, I have artifacts to collect, and more importantly, read journals that don't belong to me. Hello viewer, and welcome to the end of my video. The next time I post a video, it's going to be in October. So I'm planning in my bi-weekly schedule to give you a video that is festive to Halloween. If you liked my current video, please take some time to subscribe to my channel. While you're at it, please click on the little bell icon to be notified when I have my next video uploaded. Make sure you let me know what your opinion of Tomb Raider is in the comments section as well. I look forward to reading your thoughts on the subject. Again, I'm sorry about the audio this week. My new voice speakers should be in by the next video. And as always, thank you for watching. I hope it was a pleasure seeing the video as it was for me making it for you.